Imagine one day drilling through the earth from one side to the other. Well, drilling through the earth from one side to the other is currently impossible with the technology available. There are several significant challenges that make this idea impractical, and some of the main problems would be extreme temperatures as we delve deeper. The temperature would increase significantly, and at a certain depth, temperatures would become so high that conventional materials couldn't withstand them. Another challenge would be pressure. The pressure inside the Earth also increases considerably. This creates extreme conditions that pose significant challenges for any material or structure currently known. Not to mention, we don't even have the materials or technology necessary to create a drill or any other tool that could handle the extreme conditions inside the Earth. And I almost forgot about the distance and scale. Earth has an average diameter of about 12,742 kilometers. Even if we could overcome the challenges of temperature, pressure, and materials, the scale and distance would make drilling from one side to the other a monumental task. So, being curious and stubborn, I continued with my questioning and wondered, okay, but what if someone overcame all these obstacles and somehow made such a hole? Then we would have other problems to overcome. First of all, there would be considerable geological impacts, with the tunnels drilling potentially having unpredictable effects on the planet's geological stability. This could include changes in tectonic patterns and possibly the induction of earthquakes and volcanic activity. We could, and from here when I say could, I mean that we would most likely have problems with temperature and pressure. These conditions could lead to the collapse of the tunnel or other disasters. Apart from the engineering challenges for maintaining a habitable environment inside the tunnel, such as temperature control, breathable air, and protection against radiation from the Earth's core, there would also be environmental impacts. The environmental implications of such construction would be enormous. Drilling could release gases and minerals previously contained, possibly causing unprecedented environmental damage. Transportation issues. Well, what's the use of a tunnel that can't be traversed? If the tunnel were used for transportation, it would present unique challenges, as gravity would work differently inside the tunnel, depending on the side and direction you're going. This would also require extremely advanced and safe transportation systems that we obviously don't have today, but I'm considering this stage in a scenario where we would. Well, lastly, there would be political and legal issues. A tunnel that crosses the planet would inevitably involve multiple countries and jurisdictions, raising complex questions about sovereignty, security, and usage rights. Not to mention the potential for unknown or unforeseen effects and so many other problems that would turn this video into a television series. But being even more stubborn than my mom thinks, I imagined what it would be like if we received a laser from somewhere in space and it made a clean hole in the ground with a diameter of 0.5 meters, traversing the Earth, and then? Well, the idea of a space-based laser beam drilling a clean hole through the Earth, even with only a 0.5 meter diameter, right from the start, would challenge the laws of physics as we understand them. However, exploring this hypothesis theoretically, the impacts would be significant and complex. At first, I think the energy required for a laser to penetrate the Earth would be immense. At the point of impact, there would be a massive release of energy, potentially causing an explosion equivalent to an atomic bomb. This could result in localized devastation, including fires, destruction of structures, and loss of life. Geological effects, always them, would affect geological stability, potentially disrupting tectonic plates or causing volcanic activity and earthquakes, especially in regions near the entrances or exits of the hole. We would still have the temperature and pressure problems already mentioned, but with an addition, the extreme heat from the mantle and core would likely close the tunnel shortly after its creation. The environmental consequences mentioned earlier, such as the release of gases or alteration of underground aquifers, and atmospheric consequences that, depending on the speed and manner in which the tunnel was created, could have a significant impact on the atmosphere, potentially altering local or even global weather patterns. Possible changes in the Earth's magnetic properties and alterations in the planet's rotation or orbit, although likely very small. Well, before the last idea to add, I need to ask for your like. This channel is created, edited, defined, and thought out only by me. It takes a lot of work to do all of this, and your like makes a big difference. I need it to improve the quality of the videos, to think better and more deeply about the topics covered, so leave your like, subscribe, and comment. I guarantee it will make a big difference and won't cost you anything. But to finish, what if, in a crazier idea, a person witnessed the laser and jumped into the hole at the exact moment it was created? What would happen to that person? In this crazy idea, if a person were to jump into a hypothetical hole that traverses the Earth, a series of extreme physical and environmental events would have an immediate and fatal impact. Let's consider the extreme conditions and the laws of physics to understand what would happen. Even if the hole remained open, the person would encounter extremely high temperatures as they approached the Earth's mantle and core. These temperatures would be sufficient to incinerate a human being instantly. The pressure inside the Earth increases dramatically with depth. This extreme pressure goes far beyond anything a human could withstand and would be obviously fatal. Not to mention the lack of oxygen and the presence of toxic gases underground that would make breathing impossible, leading to asphyxiation. We would still have various problems with gravity and acceleration, because even hypothetically, if the person could survive the conditions mentioned, gravity would play an interesting role. As the person fell towards the center of the Earth, their velocity would increase due to gravitational acceleration. However, after passing through the Earth's center, gravity would begin to decelerate the person until they reached the surface on the other side, where their velocity would be zero. And I'm not even considering a factor of speed, mass, and friction to avoid making the video too long. But without considering these details, passing through the center, the velocity would begin to fall back in the opposite direction. This oscillatory motion would continue gradually decreasing until the person finally stopped at the center of the Earth. Well, to finish the video, I remembered 3 more small details: collision, trauma, and radiation. The lack of a suspension or protection system would mean that any collision with the tunnel walls would cause serious or fatal injuries, and exposure to high levels of radiation from the Earth's core would also be a significant concern. Well, those were the problems I raised in my random thoughts about a hypothetical hole in the Earth. What would be the main problems you would raise? Write in the comments, and I may add them in a future video. What if NASA calls us for consultancy?